The Wait by Daniel Vaughn. When Thomas Gregory died, it was quiet. One moment he was pulling into his driveway, thinking about dinner and bills. The next, tires screeched, metal crumpled, a flash of light, and then nothing. Then light again, but this time artificial, fluorescent, flickering slightly overhead. He awoke sitting in a plastic chair in what looked like a sterile waiting room. White tile, clean walls, no windows. Music played softly from nowhere. A glowing sign blinked on the wall. Now serving. 72,801. A single desk stood at the far end of the room, behind which sat a man in a grey suit, flipping through a large black book. His features were smooth, oddly symmetrical, as if carved without emotion. Thomas stood and approached. The man didn't look up. "You're early," he said. "Where am I?" The man finally closed the book. "You've died." Thomas blinked. What? Is this some kind of—" "This is the threshold," the clerk said calmly. "Before the descent." "Descent to what?" The man gestured, and a door behind him slid open with a whisper. Beyond it was blackness, not empty space, but something thicker, like old velvet soaked in ink. It pulsed slightly, as if breathing. "Hell?" Thomas asked, his voice suddenly dry. The clerk nodded. "In essence. I wasn't perfect, sure, but I wasn't a monster. I didn't kill anyone." The clerk folded his hands neatly. "We do not punish only murderers. We collect those who accumulated weight and never learned to carry it." He reached under the desk and placed something on the counter, a leather rucksack. Thomas stared at it. "What's in it?" "Your weight," the man said. "Each step you take will return to you what you left behind. Every action, every inaction, every wound you caused but never looked at. You'll feel it, remember it, carry it." "How far do I have to walk?" "There's no map. Some crawl, some walk forever. Others are claimed before they reach the end." Thomas swallowed. "Claimed?" The clerk looked up from the bag, expression unreadable. "If you stop moving," he said, "the ground takes you. Not as punishment, but as conclusion. It means you can no longer carry what you owe." "What happens to them?" "They are buried in themselves," the clerk replied, "trapped in the moment they gave up, forever reliving the pain they refused to walk through." He slid the rucksack forward. "Walking is the only freedom left to you." Thomas hesitated, then picked it up. It was light, at first, but as he stepped through the door, the world changed. The hallway vanished, replaced by a vast and endless plain, grey, cracked earth beneath a dark, endless sky. There was no sun, just a dim, directionless glow that left no shadows. The ground stretched forever in all directions, broken only by jagged stones and slowly twisting black trees without leaves. He took a step, and it hit him. He was 13 again, laughing as a group of boys held down a smaller kid, drawing on his face with a permanent marker. Thomas had done nothing. He'd laughed, even handed them the marker. The bag grew heavier. A sharp weight pressed between his shoulder blades. Another step. His mother was in the hospital. He'd ignored her calls, blaming work. She died without hearing his voice. Another weight dropped into the sack. This one had corners. It dug into his spine. Another step. A friend crying after losing a child. Thomas had nodded, said the right things, but felt only boredom. A co-worker whose idea he stole. A girlfriend he ghosted when she said she needed help. A dog limping on the side of the road. A child he lied to. A man he mocked. Each step brought a new memory. Each memory became mass. Soon the straps tore at his shoulders. His back bent forward. His knees trembled. He wasn't alone. Others were walking too, scattered figures across the plain, each hunched and dragging their burden. One man wore chains around his wrists that rattled with every step. Another had a coffin strapped to his back, nails sticking through the wood. A woman ahead of him dragged a sack so large it carved a trench behind her in the dirt. They never looked at one another, never spoke. At first, Thomas tried to speak to them, a word here, a gasp, a plea. No one responded. They only walked, or tried to. About an hour, maybe a lifetime, into his descent, he saw her. A woman ahead had slowed. Her head turned slightly, just enough to glance at the cracked sky. She looked like she was trying to remember a song. Then she stopped, and the ground beneath her shivered. She gasped, tried to move, her foot sank. No, no, I'm still walking, I'm still... The ground cracked wider. Her body convulsed as the earth swallowed her whole. And just before her head disappeared, Thomas saw her expression freeze, not in terror, but in realization. She knew exactly what she would be reliving, the moment she stopped. And then she was gone. The earth opened without fire, without noise. It simply took her, swallowed her like she had never existed. Then the ground sealed, flat, silent, empty. She was gone. He stood shaking, heart pounding. The others didn't stop, didn't glance, just walked. So he did too. He couldn't stand upright anymore. The weight had bent him. The bag now dragged behind him like a rotting shadow. In the distance, so far it felt like a trick of the eye, he saw a dull red glow, a smudge on the horizon. It pulsed faintly, like a dying ember. He crawled for what could have been an eternity or a minute. Time didn't seem to have any meaning. At last, he reached the source of the red glow. He was 15 feet away from the edge of a massive chasm. From it, rays of crimson and orange shot towards the sky. He peered over the edge. Below was not fire. It was a reflection, a great churning abyss of himself. Every version of Thomas Gregory that had ever existed, every failure, every better man he could have become, but didn't. They stared up at him, blank-eyed, waiting. He stared hollow, trembling. Then, from what seemed out of nowhere, a voice spoke. "You made it." Thomas turned. The man in the grey suit stood beside him on the cliff's edge. His suit unwrinkled. Not a speck of ash touched him. "I thought," Thomas rasped, "you were back at the beginning." "I never left," the man replied. "I'm always at the end, and the start." Thomas fell to his knees, the bag like a corpse clinging to his back. "Is this where I burn?" "No," the clerk said. "We don't burn anyone here. That would be mercy." Thomas looked up, eyes wide. The man continued, voice even. "Your eternity is this. You will walk again, and again, and again. Each new descent, you will remember the others. The weight will return. The memories will sting, and you will crawl your way here." "And then what?" Thomas whispered. "You will stand here, on this edge, and remember what brought you. You will hope, foolishly, that this is the last time." The clerk smiled thinly. "But it never is." And with that, the man in the grey suit vanished. The bag pulled, and Thomas fell. No scream, no salvation, no sound, only silence, forever.